Hi everyone, welcome. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We're letting folks in so that we can all hear the information together. So Paula says that today is National Apple Pie Day. So go ahead and tell us in the chat if you like apple pie, if you like it hot or cold, or if you eat it with ice cream or whipped cream. Something interesting to know. I'm not really a big fan of apple pie myself. I like cherry pie, but apple pie I could leave on the table. I'm with you, Glinda. All right. Let's see. I've got 1:30. Paula, did you hit recording? Just to make sure I didn't hear it go off. So I just want to make sure we're recording for everybody who's missing today.
Yes, it's
Okay,
recording right now. Thank you.
great. Okay, once again, welcome everyone. This is the PD Coordinator webinar meeting for today. We're going to go ahead and get started because we have lots of information to cover. The first thing is our agenda for today. So we're going to have updates from the distance education PDC and the career pathways PDC. We'll hear from, well, I don't think we're hearing from the research team today. Sorry, I should have removed that from the agenda. But we are going to hear about new training and conferences and statewide events, a little bit about our monthly webinar series, any testing updates that we may have, PD portal announcements, and then we will have PD coordinator time at the end. So first, we're going to hear from Ryan on the updates for DEPDC. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. First things first, DLTI, which is the Distance Learning and Technology Integration Symposium, is this weekend, May 15th and 16th. While in-person registration has closed, online registration is still available. This conference is hybrid, so there is in-person and in online participation, and that online participation is still available. It's free. So make sure you get in there and reserve your spot because there's lots of good things, great sessions, great presenters, and prizes, I hear. So you can join that, and the link we'll put in the chat is in the chat. Thank you. The next slide. So we have a new course that is now available in the PD portal. You may be familiar with Distance Learning Academy, but this course has now been updated to be more streamlined. It is an on-demand course, and if you are staff that is engaged in distance learning and reporting proxy hours in teams, this is a required course. So you can gain more information and understanding the distance education policies, about proxy hour models, and more. So you can now request that on demand in the PD portal. Next slide, please. And our next Tech and Tell this month in May, we've been doing a series on polling tools. So we've done Mentimeter and Slido earlier in the month, and now we will have Belinda Tooley on May 22nd. She will be talking about Poll Everywhere. So you can join us Friday, May 22nd at 11:30 a.m. for another interactive session to learn about polling tools that you can use in your classrooms. Yes. But I don't think that's me.
So I think
Oh,
the next
go
one,
back.
Ryan,
Yeah.
is
It's
saying something. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so you can share, okay?
Thank you. Okay, and so before I jump into the next bit of information, I'm going to ask you all to join me in a little activity. It's a Kahoot, and if you can use a mobile device if you have one with you. Let me make that bigger. And scan the QR code, or if you go to play.kahoot.it on your browser and then enter in the game PIN, which is 803-5813. Thank you. And I'll give you guys a moment to jump in there. I see our koala and the llama with pie on his head. Speaking of pie. And then Cecilia Turtle. Give me another few moments to get in there if you're able to join before we start our activity. And if you're not familiar with Kahoot, what will happen is a question will come up on your screen and you will respond to that question on your device. Excuse me. All right. Is everybody in that's able to join? We'll take another 10 seconds. And if not, feel free to use the chat. If you have troubles or unable to join in the Kahoot, that's fine too. You can always use the chat, and I'm checking there as well. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. So here comes your first question. Is this true or false? There is a difference between AI and Gen AI. And go ahead and drop your answer in the chat if you weren't able to join in the game. We still want you to participate. What do you think? True or false? True. Good. Majority are saying true. And that is true. There is a difference between AI and generative AI. Let's go to the next question. What type of tools are Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT? Oh, very nice. 100% correct. I'm impressed. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've seen our leaderboard. Tip is taking over Howdy. So which of these are key considerations for exploring or implementing AI? Nice. So you should have selected all of them. Mitigating biases, ethics and data, ease of use, and AI capabilities are all considerations for exploring AI. Very nice. And then considering the questions I just asked you, how well do you think the instructors or staff in your program understand this information? Are they unfamiliar with it, or do you think they're at a level where they could teach others about implementing AI in their roles or in the classroom? Kind of where do you think on a scale of 1 to 5 they would fall? Okay, so we have a range, mostly kind of at the two level out of it. Very nice. So we're scattered here. And this is great. So I'm going to, I'll let you see the leaderboard first. You're competitive like me. Who was that number one spot? That was Howdy. Howdy took it over. Good job, Howdy.
Yay!
Okay.
Oh, that was good. Well done.
Yay!
I wish I had a prize for you. So this information really just leads us into the trainings that we now have available. So specifically talking about AI for AEL, which goes into how to implement AEL or AI into our practices in the AEL classroom, developing resources, and how to adapt resources using generative AI. And so some of the questions that I just asked you, those topics will be explored even further within that course. Some of you may have already taken the courses in the PD portal. They were released and they were open and available from about March till May. They just closed a couple weeks ago. But now we have a model where there are trainers available to go out across the state and facilitate these courses. So on a program level, these courses can be requested to have it facilitated as a cohort in that way for your specific program. So it's a flexible model ranging from 6 to 8 weeks. You would coordinate that timeline with your PD specialist and yeah, it will be available in July. And then the other training that is available is Digital Navigator Essentials. So we had trainers who went through this program and they're also available and ready to facilitate this training across the state. And it's introducing the Digital Navigator model. So here with AI for AEL, we're talking about implementing this tool on a staff level. With Digital Navigator Essentials, we're really looking at building the skills and a network of staff that is able to develop skills with our students. So what does that look like and what does it take and how you can build a plan within your program to develop this digital navigator model? That is available for a training as well. And that's available now. So as you're going into planning your trainings for the next program year, these are just two considerations to think of. And with that, are there any questions?
While we're waiting to see if questions pop up in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. Okay, Ryan?
Yes.
So does anybody have any questions for Ryan? DEPDC questions?
I'll be here in the chat if anything pops up. Thank you.
Hey, Wendy, it's Jan Bartlett in Lubbock. I was
Hi,
just
Jan.
a question for Ryan. Is this going to be something that teachers can do through Zoom, the one that's going to be available in July? How is that going to work as far as the training from a trainer?
Yes, so that model can either be done face to face or yes, virtually.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and before we move forward, Paula, are you seeing my screen correctly?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So as mentioned before, if you think of a question as we go through, go ahead and put it in the chat and we can address it even if it's something that we had covered earlier in the meeting, no problem. Okay, so we're going to move forward. Now we're going to have some updates from the Career Pathways Development Center. However, they're all in training today, so I'm going to go ahead and cover their updates for them. I'll just be reading some notes that they sent over, but if you have any questions, we can make sure that you have the email address to go ahead and ask them specific questions. Okay, so first of all, they're excited to highlight a major upcoming event, the 2026 Career Pathways Symposium. The theme this year is Elevating Workforce Integration Through Intentional Collaboration. This isn't just a meeting, it's a statewide convening designed to break down silos between education and industry to strengthen communication, collaboration, and community building. Mark your calendars for June 4th and 5th at the Embassy Suites San Antonio Landmark. You can register right now through the Chime Live app. Links for registration and hotel reservation are in the chat. And I can see that Paula has put those links into the chat. So that's all the information about their Career Pathways Symposium coming up very soon in San Antonio. A bit further ahead in August, they have the Greater Houston Career Pathways Summit on Friday, August 21st. This will be held at the Baker Ripley East Aldine campus. I hope that's how you say it. This is a high-impact one-day summit specifically focused on strengthening IET, or integrated education and training implementation. We're bringing together AEL providers, workforce boards, and employers to dive into employer-informed priorities and performance analytics. Registration is opening soon, so keep an eye on the PD portal and Eventbrite. Next, the CPPDC needs your voice to make these events successful. So on this slide, you'll see a QR code for the Regional Needs Assessment. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete, but the data is invaluable. It helps us identify specific career pathways needs and IET priorities across different Texas regions. Please take a moment to scan this and share your feedback so we can ensure our training sessions are hitting the mark for your specific local challenges. And Paula has put a link to that also in the chat. So if you have a few minutes, they would greatly appreciate your input so that they can provide any sort of PD, training, information that you need across the state. All right. They also have several immediate opportunities through the Career Pathways Professional Development Center. This Friday, May 15th, join us in Irving or in the virtual space for the DLTI Symposium. Sharman Toomey will be leading a session titled Tools at Your Fingertips, Google Classroom, focused on helping educators navigate digital platforms more confidently. Additionally, the CPPDC is now booking provider trainings. Whether you prefer in-person regional visits or live virtual interactive sessions, we are ready to come to you. If you're interested in booking a session for your team, please reach out to us at the email address listed in the chat. And you can see that their email to the general CPPDC at Restore email is listed there. So any questions you may have, go ahead and send them an email. And we have, I think, one more from them. To wrap up this section, let's talk about staying connected. Your call to action today is threefold. Complete the needs assessment survey, register for our upcoming June symposium, and stay engaged with our community. You can follow the Texas Career Pathways PDC on LinkedIn for real-time updates, or email us directly at cppdc@restoreeducation.org. We are here to support you as we build these pathways together. All right. So please take note of, they have a lot of great things coming up from the CPPDC. Make sure to give your feedback and then also email them with any questions. Okay. So now we're going to move on to some new training opportunities and conferences and statewide events. Paula, are you ready?
I sure am. And I just put the link that you would register for all these Literacy Texas events. I just put it's the last link in the chat. So first, we're going to start off with Clear Communication. It's an online event, and you would join, and Dr. Cynthia Kilpatrick and Michelle Lammers are going to talk about clear communication and how it drives teamwork and career growth. And then the next virtual event is the next screen. Next slide is the Digital and Media Literacy, and you'll be treated by Dr. Glenda Rose, who's going to talk about digital and media literacy, which is essential for success in both your life and your work life. So all these are online. All they ask you to do is register at that literacytexas.org link. Next is the final virtual event coming up is June 4th, and it is student recruitment and orientation. And the topic there is when resources are tight, how do you get answers and on core topics? So that should be really good. All these are PD credit as well. And finally is the face-to-face event, which is coming up in Houston. It's called the Gulf Coast Literacy Symposium. That is a face-to-face. It's on June 5th. It's from about 8:15 to 3:30. And the address of where it's at is the Houston Community College in Houston. So all they ask is that you register, and that's really so you get breakfast and lunch at some of these events that are face-to-face. And that's all I have. Thank you, Wendy.
All right, thanks, Paula. Okay, upcoming on May 28th from 12 to 1:30 is our final virtual session in our Elevate Your Leadership series. The session on May 28th is Inspire and Sustain, Cultivating Motivation and Positivity in Your Program. Registration for this is in the PD portal, and space is limited. So if it's full right now, just keep checking back before you get to May 28th, as some people may, their schedules may change and they may drop out. So I just want to keep that on your radar so that, and they've all been excellent, excellent sessions, so we highly recommend them. All right, Krista, you want to talk about COABE?
All right, so we just finished COABE 2026 in Indianapolis, and I'm excited. The next COABE is back in New Orleans, so go further with adult education. And they just put out their call for presentations. Proposals are due July 31st, and we have the link there to go to submit your proposal. So just wanted to put that back on your radar if you have anybody that wants to present at COABE.
Yeah, that'll be here before we know it, end of July. Okay, thanks, Krista. Any questions? I don't see any chat. Does anybody need to unmute and ask a question before we move forward? Okay, moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about our monthly webinar series. For Manager Monday, the next one is scheduled for June 15th. However, I don't yet have a topic. I'm still working with TWC on this. So that is to be determined, and we will send out announcements through the listservs once we have topics established. But go ahead and mark June 15th on your calendar as the next Manager Monday. Paula, if you have a chance, could you, oh, you're so fast. These are the remaining dates for Manager Monday for the rest of this calendar year. So those of you that have not had a chance to grab them and put them on your calendar, you can go ahead and do so now. Those dates are ready for you in the chat. All right, so Krista, Teacher Tuesday.
All right. So next Teacher Tuesday is going to be June 9th from 12 to 1. And it's going to be Jonna Forsyth with the GED testing service. She's our state representative, and she's going to come in and do some GED updates, talk about the app that they have now, some GED Manager, and other things. So registration is not quite available yet, so make sure you watch for listserv announcements for when this is ready for ready for registration. And then and just like Wendy, here are our dates coming up through December. Thank you, Wendy.
Right. Thanks, Krista. Okay, Wayne, Workforce Wednesday.
Thank you, Wendy. So Workforce Wednesday, the next one is June 10th. We're going to have some people from the College Board come out and talk to us about their on-course resources for adult ed. Registration, I believe, is already hit. but I didn't have the time to get in and change it, so it should be in the portal for you now. Next is just the dates moving forward and through December.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. All right, as we mentioned every month when we meet with y'all, if you have any requested topics that you would like to have on any of these webinars or any feedback for us regarding the monthly webinars, here are the email addresses for each of us that kind of lead. So currently I'm doing Manager Monday, Krista's Teacher Tuesday, Ryan's Tech and Tell, and Wayne does Workforce Wednesday. So if you have anything to add, feedback, or requested topics, go ahead and send us an email. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Go ahead and put them in there as you think of them. Okay, so let's move on to test training announcements. There really is nothing new to announce today, but we do want to make sure that you know if you have a request or you have a question regarding testing, testing administration, training of your staff, please go ahead and send an email either to Dr. Olga Escamilla or Paula Bauer, and those emails have been added to the chat. Okay, so now we're going to move on to PD Portal announcements, and I know we are all very excited to hear any updates. So, Katie, take it away.
Okay, elephant in the room, Canvas safety. Our Canvas page is back up and running. From what I understand, we're all good to go. I don't think there were any major issues with ours. But I do recommend that you have all your people change their password. And also, if they're using their personal email to log into the portal, they can email the PD portal and I can change it to their work email. Just FYI. I also sent out an active user, or I'm going to send out an active user audit in the next coming days, just to make sure we have all the right people in the portal and anyone who doesn't need to be there isn't there anymore, especially with our whole Canvas breach. So if y'all could just respond to that by May 31st, that's a Sunday. That way by June, I can have those people cleared out. I also just sent out a quarterly transcript report from January to March. So if you wanted that April one, or if you didn't get that, please email the PD portal and I will pull that for you. Okay, next. Sorry, that was a lot of information in a little bit of time. Okay, a new issue that some of y'all might be having is finding your calendar for your program in the PD portal. So to find it, you're going to go to the Canvas page, and on that left side blue bar, there's a bunch of little icons and they're so cute. About the third one down is a calendar icon. You're going to click on that. And then on the right-hand side, which also on the right-hand side of the slide is a little picture of what that looks like. There's a list of other calendars. Your program name should be there, as well as a few other ones if you're in multiple programs. If there is a color next to it, that means it's selected and your event should show up on that calendar. If there's no color, like in the picture you can see here's HCDE, doesn't have a color on it yet, that one's not selected and it's not going to show up on that calendar. So to do that, you just click that little square, choose a color, and then the event should show up. And then if you go to the next slide, there's a picture of it so that it makes sense. Yes, this is what the whole overview looks like. So you can see Workforce Integration Academy and the PD portal events, those are selected. We can see all those. And if you have any questions about that, you can email the PD portal and I can answer those for you. Okay, we have some new courses in the portal. This is just a little few of them. That Distance Learning Academy is in there. The recording or asynchronous course for Elevate Your Distance Learning for the AEB GED teachers, some Manager Mondays, and some more coming soon. And then we are at the end of the program year. So these are some instructions for getting your people to download their certificates or their transcripts. You're just going to log into their account, click that name, go to their dashboard. They can download their transcript or their certificates there. And I believe Paula put that in the chat for you. And then some friendly reminders. There is some help documents on our website, and you can always email us. I love to respond to emails, so don't feel like there's any stupid questions or anything that you don't feel like asking me. You can just send it my way, and I will answer as promptly as possible. And then if you need after-hours help, just go ahead and call the call center. If they can't answer it, then they'll send it to me and I will.
All right, thank you, Katie. Okay, so that was a lot of PD Portal information. Does anybody have any questions about transcripts, finding their calendar, how to get help, anything like that from the PD Portal? Okay, we're going to move forward. All right, Krista, ready for PD coordinator time?
I think I might be.
We'll test it out, right?
Yep. All right. So the first slide's pretty easy. Getting your PD done. It is May. We have 1.5 months left to complete required PD hours, and all PD must be completed by June 30th. You can still enter people into teams until July 15th, but all PD must be done by June 30th. If you need help with getting some of your people over the finish line, the PD portal actually now has a lot more sessions in there that you can have your people do, but always talk to your PD specialist for assistance or insight or help with new training to help your people get done. All right, next. And I'm going to pass this over to Wayne because he is my team's expert. So Wayne. Wayne, there you go.
Okay, let me see what I'm supposed to be talking about. So when you're putting data into Teams, first thing you're going to have to do is look to see whether it's in there. So you want to keep track of what it is that you want to put in there, and you want to use, when you're looking for it, for this year, there's a difference between what the old Cornerstone courses were called and what the new updated ones are. And you usually tell that by the date ranges. In the end date category, you can see it's been highlighted as green. And that'll give you an idea of when that range end is.
I apologize, Wayne. This was my slide. I saw Teams and immediately thought it was yours. So you're doing great. Keep going.
Okay, I'm faking it until I make it.
I just wanted to make that clear. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Make sure that when you're looking for them, you're looking for them under the right topic. And they should all be in there. They should start with PD Portal. If they're one of the PD Portal accounts, it'll have the hours listed and all that good stuff. And if you ever have any questions about what it looks like or what it's supposed to look like in Teams, you can always reach out to your professional development specialist, and we can help you navigate in Teams to find it. And if it's not there, then we can get it in there, especially if it's the TCall one, because that's going to be an insight. And I think that's everything on this slide.
Okay.
There's the one with my name on it.
There we go.
Okay, so once you've did your look in Teams and you've not been able to find the training that you were looking for, then you're going to reach out to us so that we can put it into Teams. Now, if you guys recall, when you guys do have the ability to put trainings into Teams, but you're only going to do those ones that you sponsored for yourself that were just your trainings, and you're not going to, that first box when you're filling it out, you're going to leave blank, and it's going to come up as statewide when you're looking for it in Teams. The rest of them fall into some different categories. So there's going to be national conferences, state conferences, TCAL, and TWC. That gives us an idea of who it is that's sponsoring the training. So something like COABE would go under a national conference. Something like TALE would go under the state conference or Literacy Texas. If you contracted with TCAL or you did something through the PD portal, then that's going to show up under TCAL. And if you went to something like the TWC forum or anything that TWC did, then it's going to show up under TWC. So you got to make sure that you look in the right place to see where you find it. And then if you still don't find it, the first column you'll see there is that you're supposed to let us know what category it fits into. That helps us identify what it is that you're talking about and where it should go, and where you look for to find it. The activity name is important. You need to use the same name that's used on your documentation for folks. That way we don't get into 5 different trainings with slight variances in their names. Use what's on their certificate or use what was used when they're signing up. You're going to have that documentation anyway, so it'll make it a lot easier if those 2 pieces align. Do use the official description for whatever that activity is. It helps us when we're trying to identify where it came from. The next one is, what is the maximum time that somebody's get for it? So if it's a 2-hour session, you're going to put the 2 hours there. And that'll be as much time as can be awarded for that. The last ones are the begin dates and the end dates. A lot of things are one-day things, so the begin date and the end date is going to be the same. Some other trainings are going to be a series. So you went to the same training, but it was broken up over 3 days or something like that. So you would put the end date on there. There are some asynchric courses that are going to have a begin date of when they were offered in the program year, which could be as early as July 1st to the last day of the year. And once you get all that put in there, you're going to send that to your professional development specialist, and you can put multiple ones on the same sheet. Okay, and then you're going to send that off to your PD coordinator. We'll make sure that they get put in there. Now, does everybody know where this sheet can be found so you can fill it out and turn it into it? Give me a thumbs up, hands up, verbal yay, something. My ears should be hurting. Oh, no. So Paula's going to go ahead and drop, we got a couple going, okay. So Paula's going to go ahead and drop the link into the chat so that you'll have it saved. But if you go to the PD portal and you go under your courses, you should be signed up for one. That's the PD coordinator session. And it'll be housed in there with the documents there. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers it. Does anybody got any questions on this one?
Looks like no questions, Wayne, so we're going to go ahead and move forward for now.
And I thank you, Wayne. I appreciate you taking that first one. And just remember that we are doing the best we can. We only have 3 people that actually put the courses in from the spreadsheets. So, and with DLTI, there's been a lot of stuff going on. So please be patient with us. We will get them in as soon as we possibly can. And I promise everything will be in there by July 15th, much earlier than that, but make sure you send them in and we'll get them in there as soon as possible. All right, let's move on. And we're going to talk a little bit about PD and student outcomes. And I am going to use Slido, which is a newer thing for me. So if you would, please use the QR code or go to the link that Paula put in. And you should be able, it should come up with the first question, I hope. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Wendy,
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.
and then hope that this works. All right, if you could join us in, I've got a person. So the first question is, what are student outcomes that we want in our programs? The link. All right, I've got a couple of questions so far. We have HSC completions, yes. Gains, MSG student retention. Post-secondary enrollments, many GED successes. All right, yes. All right. Excellent. Okay, those are spot on. Those are absolutely student outcomes that we want in our programs. All right, so keeping that in mind, I'm going to move us to the next question. All right. Just verifying that it moved. So the next question is, what does your program do to help students make a gain? Teacher training, monitor progress, lots of communication, follow-ups, monitoring, yes. All right, teachers working one-on-one with students. Excellent. Okay. Moving on to our next question. They're all kind of build on each other. So the next question is, how can PD help with your student outcomes? See how I brought that back around to PD? How can PD help with your student outcomes? Okay. We get trained on skills that we can then teach or show our students. Excellent. Gives teachers different ideas of helping students be successful. The more specific training TCAL provides, the better results we get from staff to instructors. It can help teachers understand gains, completions, etc., how-to strategies in the classroom, and for the instructors to use the tools in their classroom and to just understand the adult learner. That's excellent. All right. Fantastic. And one more question. What kind of PD do you need that you think will help with achieving these outcomes? What kind of PD will help with achieving these outcomes? So somebody in that last question said the more specific TCAL can be. So give us some specific ideas of PD that could help in achieving these outcomes. Nice. Okay. Using distance set appropriately and encouraging students to use it outside the classroom. And my teachers want more course-specific PD, especially more for ESL. Excellent. Okay. Got one more typing. All right. Nice. I believe that TCAL is on the right track with the PD in 15. Yes, those have been excellent. More ESL. Okay, we really need more PD for our staff, especially teams. The person that put that, if you want to put this in the chat, are you talking about big teams, the database teams training, or something different when you say teams? Like I said, you can put that in the chat if you want. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you for these answers. I appreciate that. So I'm going to stop sharing, Wendy. If you could
Okay.
go ahead and put yours slideshow back up. So all of those questions to help you think and, you know, what are you doing in your programs? What kind of outcomes do you want? Go ahead and turn the page. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we've been doing and what we do at TCAL is our TOTs, our trainer of trainers. And Ryan shared some of the things that DEPDC has done with the AI for AEL and the digital navigators. And then we have also TOT'd HSC, ELA, and math specific courses. So we have 6 modules in the ELA and we have 6 modules in the math. We have brand new cadre of trainers that are ready to come to your program or do virtual on each of these topics. You do not have to do all 6. You can pick and choose for what you would like in your what your programs need. They are all 3 hours each, and they're jam-packed full of strategies and activities and things that your teachers can take right immediately and go right into their classrooms with. So this is the ELA and math TOTs. We will be continually doing more content TOTs, so we have enough trainers. And then we've taken a note on that request for ESL. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. And I'm going to show you an activity. This is an example of a math activity that is in one of the very first math modules. So we're just going to take a second to just show how interactive it can be, whether it's a virtual or an online. So this is a math activity and it's multiples of 7. So I am going to start, and we've played with this, so I'm hoping it actually works. So we're looking for multiples of 7, and I'm starting at 35. So I'm starting here at 35. What's my next multiple of 7? And it can be touching by a corner or up or down or sideways. So what's my next number that I need to go to? Put it on the chat or unmute. It's the next multiple of 7. Anybody? Nobody wants math. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Up to the 35. So what's all right? What's after 35? What's my next multiple of 7? It's not going to be 42. It's got to, we're doing a maze. All right, we're going to 14. What's the next one coming around from that corner?
56.
56. All right. What's the next one? Sorry, Mary Helen, you're fine. We're making a maze to the end, and we probably won't get all the way to the end, but all right, we have another 14. And then we're gonna go to 56. I'm just gonna do the math for y'all. 28. 7 times 3 is 21. My mind just went blank. 7 times 7 is 49, I think. all of a sudden I went 8 times 8. All right, so you kind of get the idea. Another 14, another 56, another 49, 56. Oh. 7 times 6 is 42. Very good. 42. And so on. 21. So, and I'm just going to stop there. But you can see that if you can give this to your, during the training, teachers are given this, and it's just a way to bring your brain into math and what multiples of 7 are. 7 times what? Will give you what number, and you just go around until you get to the end. So this is just one example of an activity that you can get into in those math TOT sessions. Okay, so just something fun, something different, and of course I like math, so it's a good idea. That's my thing, my jam. All right, so going back, please let your PD specialists know if you would like to have any of these trainings. Like I said, the trainers can come to you face to face, or they can do virtual. The ELA is also full of activities and a lot of writing assignments and the close reading and such. So that looks funny with your. There we go. All right. So any questions or thoughts about any of that stuff? And it's not too late to request it for this program year. And you may want to set it up for next program year and just have it as a series. So all sorts of ideas and suggestions, and your PD specialist is there to help you. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, just reminding you again that these distance learning trainings are just brand new. Also TOT, brand new cadre of trainers ready and eager to get out and work with your programs and help you get those outcomes that you all need for your programs. All right. Next session, next slide. All right. Again, just as a finish up here, what are your questions about being a PD coordinator and the duties involved with the position? Does anybody have any questions that they'd want to ask right now? If not, you can just email me anytime and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
I'm not seeing any questions in chat, Krista.
Okay. All right. I think I am done. I think I will mute, or do I have another one?
You have one more.
Okay. And so our next PD coordinator webinar is going to be June 11th. And again, you're just going to jump into the PD coordinator course and the PD portal and come on in. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Krista. Okay, any questions before we start wrapping up? Anything about where to find the conference spreadsheet? Anything related to PD portal, calendar, transcripts? Anything like that?
Yes. Thank you, Wayne, for putting the actual information. The link that we put there was for the old portal. I need to update that slide. I pulled it from a previous slide deck. And so look under the rules and guidance link and that conference spreadsheet is in there. Or you can always get it from your PD specialist.
Right. Okay, thank you, Krista. Okay, Ryan, did you want to talk a little bit about the call center?
Yes, just a reminder that the call center is here for your free tech support 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. You have multiple ways that you can contact us, and it's not only for students, but it's for staff as well. So if you have distance education questions, anything from online testing, any of that type of assistance, we're here to help you assist you with that. So you can call us, you can reach out to us via our website, txdistanceedhelp.com, chat with us, all of that.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Okay. We are wrapping up for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day and evening. We'll see you again on June 11th. As a reminder, if you have any questions, send us emails. We look forward to your feedback, and thank you for joining us today, everyone.
Great job, Wendy. Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. You were on the ball there. Very fast. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and close the room.
Thank you, Wendy and Paula. Excellent job. I was a little bit of a mess, but
We made
You
it
did
through.
great.
We made it
we
through.
made it through.
Okay, I'll do attendance.
Okay,
You're going to do
thanks.
attendance? Thanks, Paula.
Yes, I will do
Okay.
attendance. Okay,
All right.
have a good day. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
Bye,
bye-bye,
everyone.
y'all.